Hey there, Silver Age guy here, and today I'm going to be showing you my Tales to Astonish Ant-Man Giant Man collection. For those of you who have watched some of my previous videos, you know that most of these books were purchased live back in the mid-60s, early 60s at the Mars drugstore, which was fairly near to my house. And speaking of the mid-60s, this movie was released, The Incredible Shrinking Man, in 1957, but it played as a matinee over and over again for many years. So I probably saw this movie maybe 5 or 6 times, and it scared the heck out of us, but it's really a good movie. It's about a guy who is on a vacation and he's on a boat and he goes through this radioactive cloud and it makes him shrink, and he continues to shrink, and the doctors are looking for ways to cure him, but they can never find a cure, and he has all these different adventures at different sizes, fighting battles and whatever. The ending isn't a very good ending, we thought. Didn't have a real good resolution. The guy just shrunk to the size of an atom and kind of disappeared. But we always liked the idea of the adventures you could have if you were the size of a cat or an ant or even smaller. So along comes Ant-Man, and of course Ant-Man solved that problem. He could shrink and he could grow back. So we loved Ant-Man. He was one of our favorites. So I start with number 41. It's got the old 12-cent logo. And I always, one of the things I liked about Ant-Man is when they drew him with objects to show his size. And I think Stan Lee was the guy who encouraged his artists to do that, to make the proportions look right so you could see how small he is. This is one of those I had slabbed. That, once again, I'm not a big fan of slabbing my books, but I tried it and came back at 5, which is fine. Another drawing of the size of Ant-Man. I have 4 Ant-Man covers, a total of 4 of the 14, and I'm going to try to get the rest of them as the years go by. And then, of course, Ant-Man became Giant Man. And that was okay, because he could still shrink and he still would turn up as Ant-Man every once in a while, but the fact that he became Giant Man made him more powerful and made him a stronger member of the Avengers. Then, of course, the Human Top, one of Giant Man's main nemesis. So now we move on to 1964. It says a little date stamp on it and some writing, but still in really good shape. Love this cover showing Giant Man growing and shrinking to Ant-Man. Made him so much more powerful, becoming Giant Man. And then here's the Spidey crossover, the obligatory Spidey crossover in every book. This one's a little rough, but still the whites are really nice and it's in good shape. Happy to have it. And we're still in 1964. I love this cover. I love this perspective with the Hulk, showing how big and how strong Giant Man can be, even against the Hulk. So we thought that was a one-time only thing. Oh, the Hulk's in the magazine, but then all of a sudden, the next issue, we go from Giant Man only to Giant Man and the Hulk. So we're only getting half a book now. Yeah, they were running out of storylines with Giant Man, so he's now sharing it with the Hulk. So now we move into 1965, and still really good covers. Here the headgear changes, and it just, it was never the same to me as that original look. Really nice blue cover, jumped off the newsstand. We always have a look on our face on the cover of complete despair. Or we're down and out, or we're coming back from the dead. Of course, we do come back from the dead. It happens. And then, all of a sudden, there's a storyline, and in this particular issue, Giant Man is there, and then the next issue, number 70, it's over. And he's replaced by Submariner. So we should have known this, because if you look at the last panel of the last book that Giant Man's in. The book starts out normally, some sort of craziness, but then you go to the last panel, and it looks like he's walking off into the sunset. But this happened so many times that all we thought was, well, it's just another, come back, and the next issue he'll be back to doing what he was doing, but he was gone, and it was the Hulk. So that's it. That's my TTA Ant-Man Giant Man collection. Pretty much stopped collecting TTA after that. I only have one of the Hulk issues, and was not interested in Submariner, so that's it. Anyway, up next will be Spider-Man, and thanks for watching. There you go.